So last up for this worksheet on multiplying decimals, we need to look at exponents and decimals, okay? So we know that exponents are kind of like a shorthand for repeated multiplication. And so since we know how to multiply decimals, let's go ahead and figure out how decimals with exponents are going to work, okay? Eventually, we're going to get to the point where we talk about the order of operations with decimals, and it'll be nice to already know this, okay? So example 8 says find each product, and that's essentially what using exponents is. Remember, exponents are just a way of writing repeated multiplication. So if I have 1.2 to the third power, remember that's really like 1.2 times 1.2 times 1.2, okay? And if you're doing this by hand, there's not really a quick, easy shortcut necessarily for how to do this. So you just want to multiply. So I'm going to start by multiplying these two right here. So I'm going to take 1.2 and multiply it by 1.2, and then we'll come back and get that third 1.2, okay? Now, the good news is really soon I'm going to give you full rights to a calculator, okay? But I do want you to understand the basics with adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing decimals first, okay? So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. I've finished multiplying by 2. I need to put my 0 placeholder here and then go back and multiply by 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 1 is 1. And hopefully we're getting better at understanding the decimal point and where it goes in our product. So for my factors, I have 2 decimal places, which tells me I need 2 decimal places in my final answer. So let's go ahead and get our final answer. So let's see, 4 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. Drop down the 1, and we need 2 decimal places. Okay? So now we have 1.44, and we still have to multiply by this last 1.2. So I've got 1.44 times 1.2. Well, let's see, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4 again is still 8. And 2 times 1 is 2. We're going to multiply by what's in the tens place. So put our 0 placeholder, and then we just multiply by 1. So 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 4 is still 4. 1 times 1 is 1. We add our partial product. So let's see, we get 8. 8 plus 4 is 12, so I keep a 2, I carry a 1. And then 4 plus 2 is 6, plus the 1 I carried is 7. And then there's still that 1 to drop down. And in my factors, I have 3 decimal places, which tells me I need 3 decimal places in my final answer. So the final answer, 1.2 to the third power, is 1.728. Okay? Now, part B, we have negative 0.25, and we have to remember some rules when the base is negative. So when the base is negative and in parentheses, the exponent tells us if we're going to have a positive or a negative product. So even exponents equal positive products, odd exponents, negative products. So this is going to equal positive 0.25 times 0.25. So off to the side, we can do our side work. So let's see. 5 times 5 is 25. So I keep a 5, I carry a 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus the 2 that I carried is 12. So I keep a 2, carry a 1. And then 5 times 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay? Now I need to multiply everything by the 2, which is sort of in the tens place. So put my 0 placeholder and then multiply everything by 2. So 2 times 5 is 10. So I keep a 0, I carry a 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And I can stop there because the rest are just zeros, which don't do anything for me. So let's see, I get 5, 2, 6. And let's figure out the decimal places. So 0.25, I have 2 decimal places, but I have it twice. So that's a total of 4 decimal places, which means I need a decimal or a product with 4 decimal places. So my final answer here is 0.0625, and it is going to be positive because I have an even exponent, so I get basically a positive times or a negative times a negative, which makes it positive. Okay? Now, finally, for my last one, part C, we have negative 0.6 to the third power. So with an odd exponent and a negative inside parentheses, that tells me my final answer is going to be negative. And then it's going to be negative 0.6 times 0.6 times 0.6. So let's do some side work. So off to the side, I'm going to multiply my first two 0.6s. So I get 0.6 times 0.6. Well, this one's going to be pretty easy. 6 times 6 is 36. I keep a 6, I carry a 3. 6 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. And that's really it. I don't need to multiply by the zeros because I just get a string of zeros to add in. So notice we have 2 decimal places in our factors. So that means I need 2 decimal places in my product. So far I have negative, and then I've got a 0.36 times my last zero point 0.6. So let's do 0.36 times zero point 0.6. So 6 times 6 is still 36. So I keep a 6 and I carry a 3. Now 6 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 21. So I keep a 1, I carry a 2. 6 times 0 is 0, plus the 2 I carry is 2. Now looking at my factors, I have 3 decimal places, which means I need 3 decimal places in my answer. Okay, so remember, because we have this negative right here and this odd exponent, it's going to make the whole product negative. So our final answer is negative 0.216. Okay, so just kind of understand generally how decimals work with exponents. Okay, we're eventually going to get to the point where we look at the order of operations, and you'll potentially see decimals with exponents. So it's nice to kind of look at it now. We're getting really close to the point where we'll start using calculators more. Okay, just know that I want you to understand the basics by hand. Okay, so you need to understand how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide whole numbers, integers, fractions, and decimals. So one more section where we really look at doing things by hand, and then we'll start to use those calculators. Okay.